country podcast, still country podcast. Show the money, still country podcast, still country podcast.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Eli Isabel, aka The South Got Something to Say. Welcome to the Still Country Podcast, episode 3. I have a great show for you guys tonight. Listen, I'm honored to have these brothers sit here beside me, but before I introduce them, I want you guys to all go to Everything Still Country Podcast. Please like, subscribe, share. That's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Man, show us some love out here. We out here making this content for you guys. Tonight, though, we have a show, man. We're going to be talking about Black men in marriage. We're going to talk about where we are with this right now. And the beauty of this right here, I have two gentlemen from two different generations. We're going to have two different viewpoints, or maybe the same. I don't know. But we're going to get into that. And then you have me in the middle who's been married for a minute with a whole different philosophy about this thing. But tonight, man, before we get started, I want to go into our word on the street really quick. I want to just listen, be careful out there, y'all. This current president we have, who knows what's about to happen. I hear there are peace talks right now, but who knows? He flip-flops. He thinks he's sort of a bully, and then some people stand up to him, and then, bombs are flying. So we have to just be careful and watch yourself and your loved ones out here, because we don't know what's going to happen. We have people from Israel in this country. We don't know what they might do in retaliation. Even if they're having peace talks, what about the sleeper cells in this country? So I'm saying keep your head on the swivel, pretend like it's 9/11, man, and just be cautious and safe out there. And let's talk about real quick. I want my brothers to jump in here. I'm gonna have them introduce themselves first, and I want to talk about Mr. Tyler Perry, if we can. So, but before I get started, I want to have my young fellow over here on the left introduce himself. Talk to the people.
Well, first of all, I want to say, Eli, thank you so much for the opportunity, bro. Like I said, I'm blessed to be here. It's a great opportunity. Rob, pleasure to meet you, brother. So my name is Anthony. I'm a young barber. I'm an entrepreneur. I work in the school district. And I also do music. I'm a music director as well. So
multi-talented.
Yeah, I'm trying to do everything, brother.
Okay, all right. Hey, man, don't do that. Don't lower your life standard. No, I'm kidding. I thank you for being here, man. I appreciate that. Definitely. Talk to the people, OG.
Oh, man, honor to be here. Thank you, Eli. Nice to meet you, Anthony. First time here. My name is Saraf. 45 years old. Live in Wilmington, Delaware. Started off, went to college, did accounting for many years. Now I'm just your local Uber driver, just living life. You know what I mean? So,
no stress.
But 0.0.
I can imagine that accounting was. Were you in banking? Were you in banking? The banking industry. Yeah. Was that stressful?
It could be stressful at times. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet. Oh my God.
Yeah, those 2-hour lunch breaks were nice.
Okay, thank you, man. Welcome to the show. Listen, y'all, before we go any further, I want to talk about, to me, a man that I really respect. I know he's caught flack over the years for wearing dresses, the whole Madea thing. Now he's making, people are complaining about him making movies that show Black women in a negative light, always desperate, alone, single, bitter. And I can understand where some people may feel that way. However, as far as I'm concerned with Tyler Perry, I look at how he's employed all these African Americans, all these Black folk that are producers, that are directors, that are people who what do people call them? Production crew, people who
the catering you were talking.
Catering, yeah. You have caterers, you have food service people. These are all Black people that he employs for his sets. So I know that we're looking at the content of the movie, but I'm looking at the man and what he's doing and how he's, think about the last movie you saw, Taraji P. Henson, that wasn't a Black movie. I'll wait. Let's see. Yes, Tyler employs our people. You remember, I don't know if Anthony a little younger, you remember the guy, Jeffrey from The Cosby Show. He was the oldest sister's husband.
Oldest sister.
So what's the oldest sister name? She was on there sporadically, but there was an adult daughter that they had on the Cosby Show, and she was married and to this guy. I think his name was whatever his name was. But anyway, we haven't seen this guy since the 80s or 90s, early 90s, and somebody videoed him working at a supermarket.
He was working at
somewhere, yeah. And what did Tyler Perry do? This guy was ridiculed online, made fun of. Tyler Perry reached out to him and gave this man a job on the series. So how do you be mad at this man for the moves he's making with our community because you think the moves he's making? Like, in my opinion, I respect Tyler Perry for that alone.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
I mean, I agree. I mean, I respect Tyler Perry in a great amount because, you know, he's employing our black people, like you said. He's very talented, you know, multi-talented. And, you know, I mean, I really try not to pay too much attention to what people say, honestly, because, you know, there's a lot of actors, first of all, you know, that's also doing the women and also men roles, you know.
Exactly.
So, you know, I'm not too moved by that. You know, Tyler Perry, I think, you know, what he's doing behind the scenes is what matters.
Absolutely.
You know,
Rob, any thoughts on TP?
I mean, I'll co-sign. I never met the man, but he seems like a genuine dude. The fact that he can play some of those argument scenes where he was Medea and he also played the grandfather.
Joke.
That's the name, joke. That's the name. Yeah. The man's talented. He's worth multi-millions of dollars. He employs so many people. Black people. I know he has connections everywhere. Imagine how many people we don't know he helped, how many scholarships, how many tuitions he paid. I mean, this is amazing. But I understand he's involved in something right now.
Yeah. So there is a man, one of the actors on the show, The Oval, this one guy, he's suing him for sexual harassment. 260 M's for sexual harassment. That's a lot of money, man. And I say to that, I understand when women feel like that they have to do certain things or they're pressured and, you know, they may deal with stuff a little bit longer than a man because you're trying to figure this out. And but if I'm the dude that Tyler Perry allegedly has sexually harassed in any way, it only happens once.
We got one time.
There's not gonna ever be a lawsuit.
What happens the first time?
The first time it happens, we moving some furniture.
Right.
I mean,
On the blues.
yeah. Even if you verbally said to me, you didn't even gotta touch me. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Like, bro, what are we doing here? So, you know, of course, we weren't there.
Yeah.
Just like the whole Diddy thing, man. There's so many things coming to light with that thing. I'm just gonna choose to say, to not say anything else about that because I think the defense is wrapped up. So I think the jury is about to start deliberating on the Diddy thing. Puff that.
Cassidy,
that whole thing. Well, the trial is wrapping up with his whole sex trafficking and the whole RICO charges. That's coming to an end. However, anyway, back to Tyler.
True?
We don't know it. Some of it has to be. I think to a degree. I think some of it has to be to a degree. I think it's both. I think some people that was there that maybe weren't forced to do something, but now here's a money grab. And then there were some people that was there that maybe you were drugged and you participated or you felt threatened. If you don't do this what happened. Yeah. I think both ways.
What if some of it was consensual though?
I think some of it was.
Right, some freak show out there.
Or I think the consensual people, for them, it's a money grab. That's what I think. Like you, oh, she sued. She got 40 million or whatever she got from her initial lawsuit.
Yes.
Give me 39.5. So it's hard to say, man. But you know what? If he did force anybody, and if Tyler Perry did something he shouldn't have done, then you have to pay. You can't make people uncomfortable, and especially women. Like you can't. The dude, I almost want to smack him myself. Like, bro, you should have already decked him. You should already smack Tyler Perry in his mouth if he came at you like that.
It was harassment or assault?
It was sexual. I think it was sexual assault. Like I think Tyler advanced on him allegedly. Let me make sure I say that part.
Yeah, whatever it was, he let it go too long, so he must have liked it. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, why is it going on for so long?
Listen, I don't know either. It would have ended the first day it started with me.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, you what? Wow.
Was Tyler still wearing the dress?
Right, because he could have been deceived.
Was he in Madea mode? Are you saying was he in Madea? Was he on his Madea?
Action.
Right.
Oh, God.
Could have been acting. But 260 million, that's a lot of millions, man. I would just say, just make it 259, man. Wow, 260. I'm wondering if they say 260 just so the number is so egregious.
That's very
Just take 3 million. He's like, yes, that's all I wanted.
But if he do that, it's gonna be 10 other dudes that said he sexually harassed him. So it opens the floodgates.
Yeah, true.
Like, because if that video hadn't came out with Diddy stomping on Cassie, I don't think any of this would have ever came to light. I think that was so egregious that people started talking. You know what I'm saying? And she wasn't talking initially at first. She took her settlement and she was cool. And then other people started coming out. So I think if this is a little bit true, or if Tyler settles, the floodgates are gonna open.
Oh, so if he settles like Diddy settled, you're saying it's not a good thing. So
then somebody else is gonna say, well, he did the same thing to me. Exactly. I felt the way, because that's really his word against that dude's.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? So unless somebody was in the room.
So he could fight it, but it could potentially go left as far as, you know, it being a back and forth. You know,
he could fight it, but most people want to like dead stuff like that, like Diddy did with Cash. All right, I'm gonna throw this $40 million, right, and hopefully we move on. But then people started coming out the woodwork about these parties.
He settled with $40 million with Cash.
He gave her $40 million.
No,
yes, he did. Quickly, like it was. The video came out. He did this little contrite video where he was apologetic and all he did, and then money. At first, it was undisclosed amount. The amount has only come out since the trial. At first it was reported as 20 million, but now I think it was been reported as 40 million once the trial started. But however, good Lord, that's a lot of money. But if she went through all that trauma, and if she was sexually assaulted and beat up physically, I mean, she deserved more than that in my book, because that'll never restore her mental and her emotional. Like, she got to deal with that till she died. And how about being her husband, having to sit there and hear these things that happen to the woman you love? How about being her father, who has to sit there and hear these things that happen to you? You want to go and get on him right now in the courtroom. Yeah. Especially if you haven't heard these details, if she didn't come and ever sit with you and share this, and now you heard it for the first time. Can you imagine how you feel? And she's pregnant. This stuff isn't going anywhere.
She's currently pregnant?
She's currently pregnant. This stuff isn't going anywhere. In 20 years, her son is going to be, or daughter, Cassie's pregnant by her husband.
Oh, about that.
No.
Okay.
So this isn't going anywhere. He's going to see all of this in 10, 15 years. He's old enough to be alive. So it's just like a low-key generational curse is going to hover over his family for a while. Whether it's the lie or the truth, it's out there. So, so anyway, I wish Tyler Perry the best, and the dude who filed this lawsuit, you're a sucker because you should have got on his ass the first time it happened. That's all I'm gonna say. If it happened.
Yeah, was it groping? Was it an attempted kiss? I'm so curious.
It don't even matter. If you turn to people like, listen, I find you very, very handsome.
Oh, straight up.
That's too much right there. You ain't gotta touch me.
Lennox Lewis straight right hand.
Have you seen the clips where dudes are calling their homeboys and saying, hey dog, I just want to call you and tell you good night. It's like a thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
And dudes are like,
on social media, yeah.
Like, what should be good night? What should be calling somebody in a real soft, sensual voice? Yo, Sarah,
it's a prank call?
It's a prank. Yeah, it's a prank.
They know you calling them?
They know if they man, but your boy never calls you and talk to you that way. So you're like, what's wrong with you?
Yo, wow.
Yo, what you gonna say? Rob?
Yo, Sarah, I just want to call you and tell you good night.
I'll say, what's going on? Like,
so it's off the trend right now. It's a trend right now. It's a big on social media. It's hilarious. But I'd be like, nigga, what are you talking to? What are you talking to like that, first of all? But anyway, let's get into tonight's show. Black men in marriage. So I don't know where you both stand. I'm very interested to hear where you stand on marriage. And then I have a question that I have two that I would love to hear your both opinion on after you kind of tell me where you stand on marriage. I know right now, I don't think marriage is valued as it was when we were youngsters. Ant's a little younger than us, but I don't think it's as valued. I think this current generation, it's all about the bag and what you can do for me. And don't mess around and have like I see these NBA players get caught up. I never listened to like Bow Wow, but he said something so profound. He said athletes, and he was talking about NBA players. He said they're some of the dumbest people ever. And he said, I'm gonna tell you why. Is these dudes come into the league 2021, they've been in all these Instagram models like coming up. And now you have $10, $20 million, now you have access to them. And the first thing they do when they get access to them, they hit them raw. These chicks are trying to get pregnant. It's a payday. So our relationships and marriage as valued as they once were? I don't think I believe that to be true. However, where do you guys stand on marriage? I'm gonna go to Ant first. I'm gonna get the young guy perspective. I ain't gonna call you a YN. I feel like this is I'm gonna call you the YG. What do you think your generation, your perspective, and what do you think your friends and male and female, what are they saying on marriage in 2025?
Well, I can only speak for myself, but I can speak to like the culture and in my age group. Hey man, listen, I agree with you. It's not valued as much as it was back then. Only because I feel like it, nowadays, people value and they kind of have this persona to where everything is about independency right now. I'm independent, I want to do this, I want to do that. Also pride, being entitled.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the younger generation, my generation. That's the attitude towards marriage, so it's not really, marriage is not something that people look forward to, because like I said, you have all these things that are attainable and are kind of, at your reach as far as like, people, things to do and stuff like that. It's a lot of distractions.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, I really think that marriage is not something that, people really attempt to go for nowadays. Now, me, I do strive to get married one day.
Okay.
Now, of course, it's scarce out here, though. It's real.
I believe it. I'm not out there, but I believe it.
Yeah, exactly. It's scarce. But, it makes it more challenging,
Yeah.
It helps you discern a little bit better, helps you be a little bit more sharp as far as like making sure that you actually are very intentional as far as, who you're dating,
right,
and what you're dating for, so.
You have some great perspective for a young fella. You're doing a great job.
I try.
So, Rob, where you stand on that? Being in a different age group, a different generation, what do you think about marriage?
Well, he said the key word, distraction. I mean,
even in the 40+ community, you feel like it's that way too?
Well, I think the internet and social media destroyed humanity.
Humanity is out of here.
I know he said destroyed humanity.
So marriage is just one of the things he destroyed in his past.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done this, but I'm sure if you Google the divorce rates per decade, I should have done that before the show, but I'm sure it's increasing.
Right.
Massive, right? So, I mean, I've never been married.
Do you desire to be married?
If it falls in my lap, I definitely
You're not striving for it.
Absolutely not, bro. I live moment to moment. That's why I'm amongst my friends. I might be the most content, peaceful person amongst all my friends. Most of my friends have kids, either they're married or they are, baby mama situation. I think one close friend of mine who's my age doesn't have kids. How many 45-year-olds don't have kids?
Right.
It's not.
Do women judge you when you speaking to a woman, you meet a new woman or whatever, that she actually have children? Are you feel like you ever judged because of that?
Yo, it's so funny you asked that. You know what's funny? Right now, no. But like in my late 30s, like 2016, 17, 18, yeah. But now I'm 45. These women understand. They're like, you have kids? I'm like, no. And they change the subject. They know it's weird out here.
Good, because my kids are like 18, 19, so I can come over there with you. Ain't no baby mama, ain't nobody tripping, ain't no ex tripping.
I mean, listen, man. If somebody wants to get married, do it.
Yeah.
But I would say just make sure. I'll take the advice somebody once gave me. Some older lady told me, she's like, make sure you marry your best friend. And when I was younger, I was like, okay, yeah. Years later, I'm like, I get it, because if you marry somebody just for physical appearance or money or whatever, the foundation is kind of weird. But if you marry your friend, not best friend, just your friend, at least if I had a bad day, okay, we're not gonna get intimate. At least I still have my friend here. But I'm not talking from experience. This is just my opinion.
Yeah.
But if you ever see me married, it's because it just fell in my lap like a leaf falling out the tree. Like let's say I get married and then I look back and connect the dots and say, oh, had I not met her, I wouldn't have met her friend.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, oops.
One thing led to the next.
One thing led to the next. But I'm not out here buying expensive cologne and buying sneakers. Like I dress like a cab driver because I am. But if I really wanted to get back in the game, yeah, I'll present myself differently, go out more. But no, I live moment to moment. But at the same time, if somebody says, yeah, one day I want to get married, I'll salute them and say, go ahead.
You said something. You said, you're very content and you live in peace. Do you not think you could have that within a marriage? Or because you haven't experienced it, you don't? Because you don't think you're very content and peaceful now. Do you feel like you said, I got married, it will be because it fell in my lap?
He said the word, scarce.
Right. Like even in our age group, so I'm 52, you're 45, so we're hovering in the same. We could be dating the same age women,
right?
Per se. You think in our age group, women are just as shallow at 40 plus as they might be in their mid-20s?
It all comes down to this social media. I'm trying to tell you, the internet is for that.
True.
A 47-year-old is the same. A 47-year-old man and woman is the same age as a 22-year-old man and woman, in my opinion.
I tell the social media.
Bro, I do Uber.
See a lot.
People in the backseat, they could be an old woman. She's watching silly videos and laughing.
Yeah.
A young person. I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So I don't think age nowadays is as much, man.
Man, dumbed down society like big time.
Oh, absolutely.
Bingo. Bingo.
It's dumbed down.
See, we remember leaving and not writing a note on the kitchen table. I'll be back at such and such time.
Right.
Yeah, I do kind of miss that, man. I love the phone. I love it, but I do kind of miss not having it.
You know, I can't remember who said it, but they said relationships are so different now. They said you think about like our parents' generation, like when our parents were married, or our grandparents were married, when a man went to work, he didn't talk to that woman till 8 to 10 hours later when we returned home. Like there was no cell phone. He didn't know how her day was. Like the only reason you may talk to your spouse if there was an emergency, then they would call the main office at the job. Then they would come and get you out of the factory or wherever.
But I feel like that's what, not to cut you off, but I feel like that's what made the relationship interesting though.
You had something to talk about at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah.
And now as soon as something happened, you know, this lady at the register just...
Yeah.
So now when we get home, we don't got nothing to talk about. Because I didn't talk to you all day or we didn't communicate it via text. I think that has definitely, that's why people, I think, I'm going to say, and I know adults too, like, we're all adults, but I know older people who, some people don't know how to communicate anymore because of the phone and social media.
It's true.
Like, they rather just text. Like, I come from the phone on the wall, we going to talk on the phone, and not just, so I think that probably plays a role in how people, the lack of communication or the lack of knowing how to communicate. That hurts relationships also. Let me, this is the question I've been waiting to ask you guys. Your parents together?
Yes.
How many years?
Oof, let's see. I'll probably say since mid to early 70s.
Oh, wow. 50?
My parents were immigrants from East Africa, Ethiopia.
Okay, they came together or they met here?
They met in America.
Okay.
So different values. Yeah, my older brother was born in 76, 75. I'll say 72, 73, so almost 50 years.
Okay. And what about you? I kind of know, but I want you to talk to it. Speak.
Yeah, of course.
Like your mom and marriage and relationships.
Yeah, like big time. So I was kind of born out of wedlock. You know, my mother and father, they weren't really together.
I was a side baby, so don't worry about it.
See what?
I was a side baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that's the whole story. I'm serious. From 52 years
ago. We gotta hear your story.
That's a whole other show.
We gotta hear your story.
But go ahead. Keep on.
Yeah, so my mother and my father, they were together, you know. They were probably together for, you know, probably a quick second.
Okay.
I was born, and yeah, man, I grew up with just my mother.
All right.
My father was here in and out, you know,
right.
Due to the, you know, the streets and things like that. But the dynamic was, well, I'm gonna say this: there was no dynamic. So I didn't grow up seeing that dynamic. Now she did get married later on, you know, in life. So I was able to see, you know, a marriage and see a dynamic like that, and it definitely gave me an approach, well, a different perspective on how to view relationships. Because of course, I grew up kind of knowing that my father was him, you know, and my mother, you know, she was here.
Right.
Does that make sense? So
that makes sense.
You know, when I saw that unit, when I saw that, you know, there was a meaning to marriage, you know, and there was a reason for marriage, then, you know, I kind of hoped that I could have that.
Right.
You know?
Right. So let me ask you both this. What have you learned from your parents about relationships, and what have you had to unlearn about relationships from your parents? Whether it be observation, or seeing, whatever it is, whether they told you something, what have you learned about relationships, and what have you had to unlearn in your own adulthood?
Wow, that's a good question. Okay, so one thing that I've learned as far as, like, you know, seeing the relationship, seeing my mother's relationship and her marriage and things like that, was that marriage is really a everyday work. Like, it's an everyday progress. Like, you know, Like it's something that you have to kind of do every single day.
Excuse my side, but go ahead.
Stupid.
I feel you. I live in it.
No, of course, yeah. I mean, you know better than I do. But just like experiencing it and being able to see it, being on the outside, kind of looking in, and knowing only to a certain amount of extent. Knowing to a certain extent of what goes on in marriage. Of course, because I'm young, but just witnessing, and also just from her knowledge and being told different things that occurred within the marriage. I do know that it's something that you really got to work on every single day.
Wow.
Not only do you have to work on it every single day, but it's something that you have to be committed to.
Right.
You have to want to do it. If you don't want to do it, then it ain't gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Facts.
And what was
what's something you had to unlearn about relationships that since you've been an adult? Maybe something you saw or you were told, you was like, that doesn't necessarily work for me. So you had to shift course in reference to something you felt like you needed to not do anymore. When I say unlearn.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna let Rob take this one for a second.
Well, they say unlearning is the new learning.
I would think that since you've had this 50-year example, because most people whose parents have been together for a really long time, they definitely want what their parents. I mean, unless you just witnessed a lot of craziness. But if you witness a stable, loving relationship, most people typically want to mimic that.
Yeah, most people want to mimic that. I would say.
So what have you learned from your parents? Tell me that.
Man, the qualities from my dad and my mom. My mom is really. I think they're 7 years apart.
Okay, who's older? Who's younger?
Pops is older.
Okay.
Mom is 7 years younger. Man, they're amazing people. They came to this country. They met here, so they came separately. A war-torn country in Africa, completely corrupt. Came here, got an education, got jobs.
What country?
Ethiopia.
Okay, all right.
So I think in the 70s there was so much corruption. I think the king just got killed. It was just a mess. So refugees came out here, met in Cleveland. I'm born in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, man, they tolerate each other very well. I'll say that, man. They just tolerate each other. I mean, with divorce rates so high, yeah, they tolerate each other very well. At the same time, they speak a language that I don't fully understand. So when they're going back and forth, it sounds like an argument, and then they both laugh. I'm like, oh, I guess they were cracking jokes. And then it sounds like an argument.
Oh, they're speaking the Ethiopian language. Okay, and you don't know any of this.
And this, very little. And then the second time they're going back and forth, they're joking around. There's no laugh this time.
You're like,
so I'm like, okay, it's serious now. So, I would say, plus they both graduated college.
Okay.
In the 70s.
Educated people.
Bachelor's degree in the 70s, you could imagine.
That's the PhD.
Exactly. Now, bachelor's you get from 7-11.
You got 2 jobs. I was just saying, I got a master's degree and I got 3 jobs. So here we are.
Is this job number 4?
Hey, well, when I started generating this cheese, look, this is the internship right now because the brother ain't getting nothing. but yeah, man. So yeah, 70's a bachelor's degree. That's a PhD.
That's a big deal, right?
Yeah,
that's more than 80. I know that's not
still
ancient for you, right?
Yeah,
Were you born? Mid 99. Yeah. I spent a lot of college, man.
You're the same age as
I went back to another
my
college.
oldest child.
Oh wow.
She'll be 26 next month.
I'll be 26 this November.
Wow.
Oh, thanks. 26 this.
Way to make me, but I just felt a gray hair pop out of my chin right now when he said that. Like, bing! Thanks, man. So Rob, is there anything you had to unlearn from your parents, like in your own relationship journey?
Not from them.
Okay.
They've done above and beyond, man. Maybe the communication wasn't there. I had to learn things with my friends and stuff. But in terms of providing, best providers in the history of humanity. I give my parents so much credit.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean?
So sidebar. You're Nigerian. I mean Ethiopian, and you are not a doctor, a lawyer, or a physicist.
Mathematician.
How does this work with your parents? Are they on your head?
That's the point. It's like that.
What? Because you're freelance. You just live your life.
If I was 19, 20, 21, 22, I wouldn't work. It'd be judgment.
Yeah.
Now they're older. Like my dad has surgeries. My mom is retired. She goes to her classes, her wellness class. She does her own thing. So, the judgment isn't there. But your question is so relevant, man. Like, if I was like mid-20s, the judgment's there.
On you.
Yeah.
Because you probably, at that time, still living in the house.
Still living in the house till I moved back in mid-20s. Yeah. But once I graduated, got the accounting degree.
They were very happy, right? When that happened. So have they been on you about like wife and kids, or they kind of left it alone?
Oh, no, not really. The funny thing is, other relatives have, but not them.
Like aunts and uncles.
People I consider aunts and uncles or aunts. Yeah, exactly.
Where the shit at?
You know where the kids at? I don't know.
So they never brought up grandkids? Like
because my younger brother has a son, no.
Okay.
But even before was off. Even before the depression was off, man. Like I said, the communication wasn't always there in my immediate family. You know, the love was there. I mean, I'm assuming both of your parents speak English. They both born from America. Right. My parents came from another country. I'm born in America. I'm with friends whose parents I visit my parents' house.
Right.
I hear them interact with their parents. I'm like, wow. So the communication wasn't really always there. So no, the pressure was never.
Yeah.
That one time, the pressure was there for education more than it was for family. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So a little self-disclosure. I'm gonna make this quick because I want this to be about me.
Let it be.
I mentioned earlier that I was a side baby, right? So
what does that mean?
I'm gonna tell you. I don't know. They might call it something different now. You young folk, y'all might call it something else. But anyway, so the main but that was my father. Like I'm one of 7, right? So the main but we small town in Arkansas, right? Everybody know everybody. So my mom, who I thought was my father, I'm just gonna say my father, James Isabel. So he and my mom, he had a drinking problem. He and my mom, he was abusive. So he kept a lot of women, right? He was doing this thing out in the streets. And so he and my mom, they would break up, he would move out, he would come back, break up, move out, come back. So then one of the times that they broke up, my mom had a little liaison. And that she got pregnant with me. So right after she found out she was pregnant, her and who I thought was my dad, they reconciled, got back together. So he went on thinking this whole pregnancy that I was his kid. And so she had me. It was never questioned. There was never no issue. And then I was born in November of 72. In January of 73, they separated for good. So it wasn't anything she had to keep going, these charades, because he was gone. He was out of the home. They never divorced. They were married till he died. But, I think that's how people did it back in the day. They just, or you're out, everybody moved on with different relationships, but they never got a divorce. So then, fast forward to 2000. So over the years, I heard 2000. Yeah, fast forward. So this was kept from me like my whole life until my mother passed away. And I've told this story before. So if you've heard this, just bear with us.
I never.
Yeah, I've told it on like another show.
Okay.
So my mother passed away in 1998, right? So I'm at the viewing. And I'm sitting in the front pew with my cousin Kat. She's my first cousin, but she's like 20 years older than me, right? So our parents are siblings. So we're sitting there and she was like, man, this is the 3rd funeral I've been to this year. I said, well, this is the first funeral I've been to since my dad died. So she turns to me and says, so my real dad's name is Elijah Marks. So she says, I'm 26. She says, oh, you went to Elijah Marks' funeral?
Oh, man.
Very casual. I said, what? I said, what are you talking about? She was like, you went? She was like, why ain't nobody told you nothing? I said, what?
Oh, wow. What else did you find out?
6 feet from my mom's dead body. My mom was literally taking this to a grave. Literally. She's going to be buried the next day.
How'd you feel about that? Without being able to, I guess, reconcile with her, or I guess, like, address that with her.
In that moment, I was just like, my mind was blown because I'm grieving my mother, and now this is entering into my mental. So I didn't even have time to really process what she said to me because my mom is dead, and I don't have any more grandparents. This is my last parent. I have no more parents in my life at 26. So I'm grieving. So this lady who I thought was my play aunt, Irene Marks. Hence the last name, Elijah Marks, Irene Marks. She got married, so Irene Felix. So she was at the funeral. Now I always hung out with her. I went on vacation with them. I did stuff with them as a little boy, but none of my other siblings. That was my mom's best friend. I just didn't think anything of it. Her sons were my cousins, my play cousins, not real cousins. So as we're the next day at the funeral, I'm a pallbearer, right? So she's sitting right there. Says, "Hey, Aunt Irene, I want to talk to you later." And so when everything repassed, I went to her house. I said, "Hey, I told her what my cousin Kat had told me." Oh, I missed a step. I'm gonna wrap this up. I missed a step. So I told my oldest sister, who I moved to Delaware with, what Kat had said to me. So my oldest sister turned immediately and walked away from me and made a beeline to Kat. And I seen them in the parking lot going back and forth. I was like, "Damn." I'm thinking, there's some truth to this. So that's when I told her, "Aunt Irene, the next time I want to talk to you." So I went to her house. I was like, "Hey," I told her what happened. She said, "Well, what did my mom's name was Rose?" I said, "Well, what did Rose ever tell you?" I said, "She never told me nothing." She said, "Well, I think you should leave it at that. It's not my place to, if your mom never said anything." I said, "Aunt Irene, I'm 26 years old." I said, "I'm an adult now." And she was like, "Well, I'm not going to tell you, but I'll just show you some stuff so you can figure it out for yourself." Now, I've always been told I don't look like my siblings, my mom's kids. But in my mind, I look like my mom in my head. So then she's showing me, now he died in 1991, my real father. So I could have had a relationship with him.
You said what?
I could have had a relationship with him if he would have reached back for me.
Okay.
But for whatever, he was married to a woman named Rose. He was married. That's like, I was a side baby. So, so I went to her house. So she started showing me these pictures of this man, all my siblings, and I'm looking at these people and I'm seeing myself. Damn, this craziest thing ever. So she didn't ever really say, "Yeah, that's your dad," but she just said, because she wanted to keep my mom's secret, under her, what she said to her. She didn't want me to ever know.
So the person you thought was your dad was your stepdad? So
he wasn't he was only in my life 2 months because they separated. Now, I saw him over the years as I was growing up, but him and my mom was separated, and he had a drinking problem, so I didn't spend a lot of time.
I would have spent a lot of time.
Yeah, it wasn't my choice. I was a kid.
Problem, but
oh, yeah.
Dang, that is the story.
Man.
Man.
So that was 98, 2012. My siblings reached out to me on Facebook. I didn't know that. And we started taking notes.
Man.
And
this is why it's important.
Yeah.
I just met you today. I can't even relate to that story.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So now I have a whole new family. So we've hung out. I talked to them. That was like May, that September. I went to Kalamazoo, Michigan, where they all lived, and I met them all for the first time. And their mother, who loved me. Like, I thought it was going to be weird for her to see me after all these years. She heard about me.
Who's this? That would be your.
So my real dad's wife. My real dad, Elijah Morris's wife. When I went to visit my siblings, I said, "How did y'all mom feel about me coming under the circumstances in which I was created?" They was like, "Your mom's cool." And I didn't necessarily all the way believe it, but she was sweet as pie.
You're in your mid-20s at that point.
I'm in my, this was like a year, it was like a year later.
After the
I met them. No. When I met them, I was like, I'm lying. When I met them, I was like 39. It was years later.
Whoa.
Yeah, they found me on Facebook.
These are your blood.
My dad's kids. My real father's kids. They're my half siblings. We have the same father. Me and all these other people have the same dad. So yeah, and I just saw them again a couple of months ago. My Aunt Irene, she passed away, so we all hung out again in Arkansas recently. So no, the relationship is great. Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, so my thing as far as marriage and relationships, I think if you find somebody that that you are connected to, for me it's about a connection. And I think that if I could do it all over again, I probably would take a little bit more time also, because I feel like we definitely need to see people through every season of their life. I need to see you when you're stressed out, when some bills are due, when you're angry.
Yeah.
I need to know how you got along with your dad, because if you hate your dad and you don't have a good relationship with your biological dad, you're not going to respect me. So it's just so many things that I think that I tell my children. Take your time. You don't gotta move in and be with them to date them. Because people always try to live together now. If it's not financially necessary, don't. And even if it is, you don't want to be codependent on somebody from a finance perspective anyway. So just get to know that person, man. Know that were they molested as a child? Like, it's so many questions we don't ask. We start talking about how is your credit, or where you work at, how much money you got,
education.
Were you sexually abused by your dad? Because it's us, and it's never been dealt with. we don't ask the real questions because we're blinded by the physical of that person initially. And then we start having sex, we're blinded again for a little bit longer by that because the sex is great. So now we don't see all of your red flags. We miss that shit until we're deep in. And you're like, this shit's crazy. She's crazy. And you're like, she's crazy. So now it all comes to light and it's too late.
And she said his twins coming too.
And she's having triplets, so you stuck.
Then you feel pressure to marry him.
Oh, that's a full cycle.
That's a full cycle.
Yeah, shot.
Because it's like, dang, you know, I don't want to break up a home, you know. So.
Right.
So,
go ahead.
So yeah, you're not really a side. You were.
No, I was
He was definitely a side.
My mom was messing around with a dude and got pregnant. Calm down, man.
You was definitely a side.
Yeah, I was definitely I was a side kid. This happens every. No, I'm not. At this point, I'm over it. But I'm not over it. I always deal with it because I always wanted to have a relationship with I didn't have that father figure. Now my mother did an awesome job. You know what I mean? I've never been in jail. I'm college educated. Like I'm a stable guy. You know, I'm stable by today's standards.
Right. 100%.
So, but you know, I always wanted to be like when I turned 21, go have a beer with my dad. You know, something like that. You know, just do like some manly shit that I never got. So those are things that I
get to know. My fault to cut you off, but get to know him on a human level.
Yeah, on an adult. So now we're kind of like almost on the same level. Let's talk as men.
Yeah.
So I missed that part. And God has only blessed me with daughters. I do have a stepson, but I'm a biological.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing I missed. I wish I would have had a little dude who looked, walked, talk, and moved like me. And I think that is like God's children are a gift. But I think for a man, that's God's greatest gift for it. You know what I'm saying?
Legacy.
Yeah. So, you know, that's one thing I do sort of miss about that part. But
you know, it's interesting. Your story in the year 2024, 2025,
it's coming.
You would have found out about who was who right away.
It'd have been on Instagram.
Somebody would have right? You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You could do that back then and be in a small town, and you could keep that secret.
Oh my God, yeah. Smaller town too.
You can't even do that in an office building now.
What do you think the argument? This is so interesting. What do you think the argument was when you saw your older sister arguing? You shouldn't have told him. You shouldn't have told him.
Yeah, because they all knew. Because my next oldest sibling is 7 of us. So my next oldest sibling is 8 years above me. So you figure when I'm 8, they're 16, 17, 20, 21. I have adult siblings, so they're not going to defy my mom's wishes. You know, down south is just a thing. There's a respect thing, and there's a hierarchy. Like even now, in front of my older siblings, I don't curse. There's this kind of a little respect. And I ain't saying it just happens down south, but down there, like there's a level of respect. I don't curse in front of them because they're older. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's one of them things. So they wouldn't defy my mom's wishes forever. Even in her death, they didn't. Now my oldest brother finally said. This is the oldest of the group. He's 65 now, right?
Oh, what he said?
He said, I said, man, we was talking about it. He said, what did Aunt Irene say? He said, she didn't say nothing really. She just showed me all these pictures. He said, listen, between me and you, and you better not tell Shirley. That's my sister who was arguing with Kat. He said, you better not tell Shirley. He said, man, you look just like that little short bow-legged motherfucker. This is the exact words.
That's short.
I'm short, I'm bow-legged. And he said, you look just like that little short bow-legged motherfucker. And so when he said that, I already knew it was, I knew anyway. I already felt it in my heart. So when he said that, because you figure he's 13 years older than me. So I'm a kid. He's already hearing the rumors in town because he's a teenager. He's a 13-year-old when I'm born. And it's a small town. Say, oh, your mom is from Miss Eliza, you know, that's the word on the street. So he's dealing with that. So he knew all the time. So, you know, it was just a thing. But yeah, so if you got any babies out there, fellas, go find your kids, man. Take them fishing.
23andMe, wait, 24 minutes, what's the thing?
Yeah, 23andMe.
Yeah,
it's all kind of stuff. So all right, let's get back off my life story. So enough of me. So you guys, right now, currently where you stand. So, and you say you would desire to be married one day.
That's true.
Okay, all right. Anything flow through the atmosphere? Anything you got your eye on? Anybody worthy?
I mean, not really.
I shouldn't ask that, man. You know, somebody might get mad. Oh, you like
Right, exactly, right. Not right now, you know, because I just had a son.
Okay, all right.
So I just had a son. You know, he's about to be 1 year old. You know, God bless him.
Oh,
God bless him. So right now I'm really in a position where I'm really trying to hone in and focus on my son, the upbringing, being the best father that I can be. You know, so
no prospects for you and the mom. You know what I'm saying?
Well, listen, that's something that, you know, we can talk about.
To be determined.
Yeah,
okay, okay, all right.
Yeah, man. So, you know, I feel like in order for me to be the best husband and also to be the best man that I can be for somebody else is that I make sure that I'm the best person also for my son and also for me.
Absolutely.
You know?
And then you'll be blessed for that woman. If you're doing that,
exactly,
then the rest is just falling in your lap.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really my focus right now.
So mature. At 25, I was an idiot.
Brother at 45, I think.
This guy is so mature.
45. Why you want kids?
Do I have kids or
you want kids?
It never crossed my mind. It would be cool to have a son. I mean, we don't shoot blanks as men, so I mean, we could always have kids.
Wow, you're killing me. It seems like a lot of things ain't crossing your mind.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You live moment to moment, man.
Robert, I live in peace.
Right, exactly.
Now, kids, first of all, anytime I'm in a room with people with kids, the kids usually gravitate towards me. When I was a substitute teacher, the kids love it. Yeah, I've always liked kids, but it's like, okay, go to mom. But now, kid, I would have to make some more money first, just for my mind to be settled.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe the ship has sailed already. Maybe next lifetime.
Yeah. You know, like I said, we can always make a kid. So
I think David Letterman had a kid at age 60 something. He's a millionaire. But
these cats is out here making babies still. I know some old cats who's still out here like. First of all, you're 60 and going wrong. Like, you know what this world is right now? What are you doing, bro? And then women always be 30 years younger. You know, when you 60, they gonna get murdered. Sniff on them. Oh, yep, I'm 3 months pregnant already. You ain't even just smell her perfume. Smell her perfume, she's pregnant, man. So I think so. Me as being, I've been married for 21 years. I never thought I'd make it this far. Thanks. I never thought I'd make it this far. You know, he said,
drive-by thing.
Exactly right.
Good looking at me.
So you've been married since?
I've been married since you gonna make me.
No, 2000 years. 31.
Yeah, I was 31.
Nice.
Yeah. I thugged out the 20s while I was a wild boy. Anyway, I was a wild boy. Like, I was so wild. I took a girl home with one arm one time and didn't know it. But we're not gonna get into that. God bless her to this day. She was fine, but she had one arm.
God bless her, but what do you mean you didn't know it?
I didn't know it because when I met her this wintertime, she had a bubble coat on. And she would always be standing with like her head in the sleeve.
Yeah.
I don't know, this smoke is naked up here. I don't know ain't nothing going on over here with a little kind of shoulder actually. I didn't know it. So I never actually saw it. Because when I took her home, when we went to the crib, nighttime, it was no. My man told me, because we was at this club in town. My man told me. And he was like, so we got to my apartment. He's like, yo, baby got one arm. I know it's bullshit, right? She was bad. I take her upstairs. I give her a t-shirt and some shorts. I said, yeah, go get. I had a roommate. I had the master bedroom beside the bathroom. So she wanted to change. So I was in the hallway talking to my man. His room was like right down. I was like, yo, Rod just told me baby got one arm, right? And he was like, so he was laughing his ass off. He's like, you know, gay, man, gay. So when I turned around, she had already got back in the bed. She changed that quick.
And
then she laid on the left side.
On the side,
yeah. The other arm out. At that point, it's like 3 a.m. I'm drunk because all night I'm like, I'm going, you know. It didn't happen, dog, because I didn't want to roll her open and see that there was no arm there. I couldn't do it.
Bro, the turtle was sure right back in the shell. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
Did you find out how she lost her arm?
I didn't even discuss it with her. I felt like it was a point of, and I don't know if she was embarrassed by it because she hadn't been there, you know, for a good while. I don't know if she was born that way or not. But my man said that cats in the hood growing up would hit it because she was bad. She just didn't have. She was missing her arm. So yeah, no, I couldn't do it. And then
you can't make that. That's interesting.
No, listen, bro. Yeah. So she, so the next morning, I feel like I had to sleep for like 30 minutes. And we was drunk. You know, you got that drunk headache. Like 6 o'clock in the morning, she's waking me up. Can you take me home? I'm like, what? Dressed again with a bubble coat. So I never actually saw it.
That damn bubble coat.
I never actually saw it. So I know it wasn't there. I feel like it wasn't there.
She slipped. She quit.
Wait, what if it was all fake news? Like, what if your friends was?
It was.
You found out later.
No, I believe him. I didn't want to believe him at first.
How did he know?
Because he grew up with it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
He knew it from like brown.
Yeah, plus ain't nobody just making that up.
That's a crazy.
Yeah, that's a crazy maker.
That's a crazy maker.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
True.
Because I just saw that. Because at 25, 24, I'm not that mature. I don't know what the fuck. You're going to tell me about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So
that's the topic. Because I'm assuming y'all went out for a couple hours.
I was starting this one club, and I had been on it for weeks. And then finally,
bubble coat.
It was wintertime. She always had a coat on.
Okay.
So this one night, she was like, "Yeah, I'll come home with you." So I'm like, "Fine."
She's fine.
Bad. Look like Foxy Brown. Remember Foxy Brown, the rapper back in the day?
Yeah. Dark skin, natural hair, cute. Yeah.
No arm.
One arm. Foxy Brown.
No.
The rapper. Okay, 90s rapper.
She's
very bad. Yeah, very.
Yeah. From Brooklyn. But anyway, as a matter of fact, she was so bad that my roommate called her Foxy. Called her Foxy Brown. But yeah, what's up with Fox? Like, I be telling about our conversation. I don't even remember her real name. But yeah, man, that was, yeah. So I don't even know why I told y'all that.
We were talking about,
God, we got to.
Talking about marriage.
We were talking about marriage and, just married a woman that's whole.
I got all her arms, legs, feet, toes. Yeah.
But you know, at this age, I think I'd take a woman that's got a good brain on her head and a
And
peaceful
one arm.
woman. Yeah, probably not a lot.
Yeah.
But I definitely, the physical isn't so much as a thing at this point.
Yeah,
Like if I was back out there.
Yeah, physical, man. It's peace and contentment, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. My life is going so well.
That's what I'm
Do I
saying.
want to bring? I heard. I'm not even I stopped listening to hip hop, like 50 Cent era, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But every now and then I listen to like Drake and stuff. I know all the songs. They was like, Drake, you ever gonna get married or something? And he was like, man, I don't know if I could let a woman enter this level of peace I got. And I was like, hey, he said what I've been thinking the last 15 years. But he's rich, so he has access that I don't have.
Yeah.
But that concept, yeah. I mean,
It's something to it. I just recently heard somebody say that, it was a great quote. It was saying that women have been saying, men go to therapy, get yourself together, and be ready for us. And then when we are there and we're whole and we're where we need to be, they really not ready. Because they didn't expect us to do the work to get ourselves together. This is just what they're saying to put us off. And then when we come whole and we have standards and we want, we want a woman on our level, or like a high value woman, as Kevin Samuels would say. When we want somebody that matches what we have on, they're not ready. And women have been saying for years, black men, go to therapy, get yourself together, do all these things, and we're now doing that. And I don't think women, I don't think most, I ain't gonna say all, I think there are some women that are not ready for a man who has his shit together, because that means you gotta come correct. Whether it be mentally, emotionally, financially, because you can't ask for what you are not.
Yeah.
you can't ask.
Well, you can, but you should not.
Okay.
You can't say, you gotta have a master's degree, you gotta have ass, you gotta make 6 figures, you a little chunky,
Exactly.
you only got a high school diploma,
All right. Yeah.
and you have never been to therapy because your uncle touched you as a kid. But women are quick to ask for stuff that they're wishing that they are not. You know what I'm saying? Just standard.
Right, yeah.
6'2", this and that. You're 5'1", 180. That's big.
Now I'm gonna throw something out there, and I want y'all to tell me if y'all agree or not. I don't think a man fully reaches his peak until he has found his one now. That one healthy. Do you think that's true? Okay, I guess that's just for you then, because you married.
I think it definitely adds. If you have a partner that supports and pushes you, and is encouraging, yes, you can go farther than you ever thought you could.
Right. Then just by yourself.
Then by yourself, yes,
Right.
Absolutely. If you have that person that's like pushing you to the moon to be great, then absolutely, you are definitely with the right woman. You can go way farther than you can probably as a single man.
Right.
And I don't just mean financially.
No.
I just mean as a human, as a person.
As a person.
Yeah, I believe there's a lot of truth to that. Yeah.
Too.
I believe there's a lot of truth to that.
I do too. And that's really a whole. That's really a big reason why I choose, and I want to push myself to get married one day because I feel like marriage it challenges us, our inner being, to be better.
Yeah.
I feel like it gives you a reason to look at yourself and say, you know what can I do better? It's kind of like an accountability partner.
Right. Just make sure that your mate is on that has the same emotional intelligence, because if you're the only one evaluating yourself and seeing where you could be better at, and that person isn't, it's going to be miserable.
You know, one of my biggest nightmares
What?
when I hear passengers in my car signing a lease and living with somebody who they despise. That's scary.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, that's the whole nation. Seems like it's like a lot of percentage of people, men and women, are with people who they can't. Because when you have sex with somebody, you're hooked up to them. How do you break free from that? Kind of like he said, like somebody needs to push you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine despising? I can't even fathom despising the person I'm in the bed with.
I know people like that. They're married. They don't even like the person they're married to.
So they're at the bar like every day. They're out. They go to drugs. So you personally, not personally, but you know of people who just...
Oh, I know people who are just, they've been together for so long that they can't see how this could ever, like, can I function, even though I can't stand this moment, can I function without them?
Can't see like what else.
And marriage is a business too.
Yeah.
Think about this. You've amassed things together, then you got to start dividing money, houses, cars, and now depending on how long you get married, now you got to pay adult child support known as alimony. You gotta literally, in some cases, pay this woman monthly because you're not with her anymore. So I think Anthony's idea of what it looks like is great, and I think where you're coming from if this is the way you found peace, I don't see anything wrong with it. If this works for you, I think you should do that.
It's case by case. Like if you find the right person, go for it, man.
Yeah.
Now, if you find, I don't have a kid. You two do.
Mm-hmm.
You have a son.
Yeah. So.
Let's say you meet a fellow teacher or somebody, an educator, or somebody like-minded. If she doesn't have kids, do you think that can be a hindrance, or women are more happy to get with a man who has one kid?
Nah, I don't think women prefer when you're involving yourself with a woman. What I've found to be true is that they don't prefer you to have children,
even if they have kids.
If they don't have kids.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. You said
specifically don't.
If they don't have kids, no, I think they will prefer that you don't have kids as well. I just feel like because it takes away from the time that you're able to give to them. Also knowing what comes along with that.
They're thinking about the baby moms.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Because I thought that some dudes wear fake wedding rings to the bar, right? They're not married. Yeah, like he's safe. He's married. Let me go talk. I'm thinking that if you have a kid, that's like an icebreaker. Oh, you have a kid? I don't have a kid, but I'd love to, meet the kid. But no, he makes a good point. That means if you have a kid, that means you have another one.
But women look at that as stability too. Like, even if they can't find a stable man, they'll take somebody that's a stable man sometimes over the one that they can't find, because
that's my point.
They want everything. You're everything that they want. You're married. You're a great father. You're a great provider.
I want that.
I want that, and I'll take a little bit of that as opposed to not having that period.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So that ring is a whole nother. You add that to the equation. That's a whole nother thing out at the bar.
That reminds me of the people who say, man, I've been applying for jobs for 8 months, 9 months. After 10 months, I finally got a job interview. They called me up. After 10 months, I finally got a job interview on Thursday. And the very next day, I got another job interview from another company. It's like you get what you already had. So the fake ring, you get...
Fake ring is crazy, though.
That's what I'm saying. He has a kid. I'm wondering if he has a kid. I'm wondering if the conversation, like, yeah, my son. Oh, you have a son? I'm thinking maybe it's like it's a attraction. You're saying it's not necessarily
attraction.
Man, times have changed.
Yeah, it's not attraction. Yeah.
So listen, fellas, we're coming to the end. We've been going for almost an hour. It doesn't seem like that.
It seems like it at all.
However, if there's anything you want to say in closing, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Let me say one thing to you. I think your maturity at this age is amazing, and I wish I had what you had at this age. Maybe I'd be further in life, because I was still at that point. I'm still trying to figure shit out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I applaud you, young guy. Fucking YM, man, definitely. Your mom's done an awesome job, man. Yeah. And so, is there anything in parting you might want to just say to the people before we get out of here?
I mean, you know, I'm just like you guys. I'm still trying to figure it out as well, you know. So
yeah.
Yeah, man, we all doing this together.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. That's cool. Saraf, anything you want to leave the people with? Saraf, you're hilarious, by the way. I just want to. I never told you that when me and you and Lamont hang out, but you are hilarious.
That was a good time. Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me. Nice to meet Ant. Nice to meet you, Eli. I'll just say, since this is about marriage and life in general, I would say try to be content regardless of the money you have, the clothes you have, the car you have, because once you're happy with yourself, which is like the hardest thing to be, it seems like, because of all the bombardment of social distraction. That's the word you used earlier. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say just do that first. And if since it's the topic of marriage, if you're with somebody and you want to like sign a contract and, you know, make it happen. But
absolutely,
if somebody is like, if you're even like 80% not, 20% not sure, man, just you know, you gotta be realistic, because stress to me is the biggest, something I want nothing to do with.
Right.
Yeah. And
I want to be like you when I grow up. Seriously.
No, for real. You got this.
You ain't lying. So listen, y'all. Thank you guys so much for joining the Steel Country Podcast tonight. I want to thank my two co-hosts who showed up for me tonight. I appreciate you guys. And before we leave, I always like to give a little mental health moment. And I want to say this to all the men out there. You don't have to go through anything alone. It's okay to go and talk to somebody about whatever you're dealing with, whether it be a friend, a mentor, an uncle, your dad, whoever. You don't have to go through these things alone. If you want to get counseling, go to counseling. Counseling is not because you're in crisis all the time. It's to help you grow, thrive, and evolve. Look at it that way. You don't have people are in counseling all the time, but they're not going through a crisis moment. So don't be afraid to do what you need to do to make yourself better. And in closing, I want to say much love to you guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Still country.
Straight out the South, Arkansas, where the talk is real and the vibe is raw. This South got some